Why does the impact of your words change as soon as the frame changes? Amplify Your Influence Part 3 Feet. Imagine you are sitting in a big interview room. The decision makers are in front of you, your file is in their hands, and you are asked, what are you most proud of in your life? You answer, I got an A grade in every subject in the final year of high school. The fact is true, and the achievement is good, but the people sitting in the room are perhaps not that impressed. The fear starts from here, because many times, even our strongest story starts to feel weak, just because we haven't put it in the right frame. The curiosity is exactly this. If the same answer, the same event, and the same achievement are told in a different way, can it change your entire image in the audience's mind? In the last 2 parts, we started the journey of influence. Part 1 was about attention, that in today's noise, making people hear your words is the first battle. In Part 2, we understood sequence. That is, it's not just about what words to speak. It is also about the order in which they should be spoken. According to René Rodriguez, if the sequence of the message is wrong, even the right thing can create resistance. That is why a communicator must first predict, then preempt, and then prevent. But now Part 3 takes us to a deeper place. Because the audience doesn't just listen to your words. They view your words through the lens of their past experiences. This lens can be called the frame of reference. Meaning, to understand something in the present, a person uses their past knowledge, memory, and experience. If you have ever felt sick after eating a certain food, even years later, the mere mention of that food can make you feel bad. The food is the same, but your frame has changed. To some, bike riding feels like an adventure, to others, a danger. To some, public speaking feels like excitement, to others, a fear of embarrassment. Actually, things don't always look the way they are. They look to us the way our mind colors them with past experiences. This is the reason why a frame becomes very powerful in communication. If you don't build a frame, the audience builds a frame according to themselves. And when the audience builds their own frame, your message can get trapped inside it. Then you keep explaining, but the listener doesn't come out of their old story. Suppose an employee heard the word change in their previous company, and layoffs happened afterward. Now, in the new company, when the CEO talks about change, the employee will first feel fear. For the CEO, change might mean growth, but in the employee's frame, change has become synonymous with job risk. This is exactly what is seen in the story of Darren and Terence. Darren is a startup CEO who wants to bring a big change to the company. For Darren, this change is related to the future, growth, and better processes. But the accounting head Terence sees it from a different perspective. There was talk of change in Terence's previous company as well. Initially, people were excited, but later, that same change became a signal for people to lose their jobs. Now, when Darren talks about change, Terence doesn't just listen to the business plan, he feels the fear of his past all over again. This is the frame of reference. The other person is listening to your words, but their mind has already opened the file of their past experiences. If Darren ignores this frame, his words will collide with resistance. People will not listen with an open mind, but will sit in the protection of their fears. But if Darren claims the frame beforehand, he can tell the audience from what perspective to view this conversation. Claiming the frame doesn't mean manipulation. It means giving the audience the right context, so that they don't judge your words based on wrong fears or incomplete information. In Part 2, we learned predict, preempt, and prevent in sequence. In Part 3, the frame makes that same sequence even sharper. First, you predict what past experience the audience might use to view your words. Then you preempt, meaning you address that fear beforehand. And then you prevent, meaning you stop the wrong frame from spreading. In this way, the message safely enters the audience's mind. In the Amplifii formula, René Rodriguez talks about frame, message, and tie-down. These 3 steps can help in making any point effective. Frame is the door through which the audience enters your story. If the door is not right, the story inside can also be misunderstood. Message is the core point that you want to convey to the audience. This is the direction of your story. Tie-down is the point where you tell the audience what the value of this story is and what they should understand from it. Now look at Janice's story. She had to give an interview for a presidential role in a big company. This was not an ordinary interview, but a major turning point in her career. She was asked what she is most proud of in her life. She answered that in the final year of high school, she got an A grade in every subject. This achievement sounds good to hear, but without a frame, this answer can also sound weak. The interviewer might think that perhaps Janice was not serious about studies before. Perhaps you worked hard only in the final year. Perhaps the achievement is not that big. This is the problem. If the story is incomplete, the audience fills the blank spaces themselves. And the blank spaces filled by the audience are not always in your favor. Therefore, Janice had to frame her answer. She had to tell that this is not just a story of grades. It is a story of self-belief. When she changed her frame, the entire story changed. She told that in her childhood, her self-esteem was very low. Many people in her life considered her weak. Some people called her stupid. Gradually, this voice had settled inside her. But one day in the final year, she asked herself a question. Will she always keep listening to others, or will she prove herself? This is where the turn came in the story. She decided that now she would not let her identity be made by others' words. She worked hard, showed discipline, and achieved an A grade in every subject. Now the achievement was not just about marks. Now it became a story of a fighter, of a person who could rise from low self-esteem and change herself. This is the magic of framing. Without a frame, the point was, I got A grades. With a frame, the point became, I did not let myself lose. The message also became clear. Janice wanted to tell that she is disciplined, resilient, and does not stop in the face of a challenge. The tie-down connected that story to the job. She said that this journey made her strong and flexible, which is why she could prove valuable for the company. This tie-down is necessary. The audience should not think that you told a personal story just to be emotional. They should understand what the connection of this story is to the current situation. Only then does the story create value. Many people tell good stories of their lives, but do not tie them down. That is why the audience thinks, okay, but what does this mean? A strong communicator does not leave the audience alone to think about this. They also provide meaning after the story. If you are in a job interview, connect the story to the skill. If you are in a sales pitch, connect the story to the client's problem. If you are making a YouTube video, connect the story to the viewer's fear, curiosity, and benefit. This is the tie-down. Frame, message, and tie-down together make communication complete. The frame gives context, the message gives direction, and the tie-down gives value. If the frame is missing, the audience can misunderstand. If the message is missing, the story can fall apart. And if the tie-down is missing, the audience will feel the emotion but will not take away any action or learning. This is the reason why Part 3 gives the most practical lesson in communication. Before saying your point, decide through which window the audience will view it. If the window is of fear, the point will seem like a threat. If the window is of growth, the same point can seem like an opportunity. Darren will have to do this in his company change announcement. He will have to say first that this change is not to reduce jobs, but to strengthen the company. He will not have to make people's concerns look small. He will have to say that change can really be uncomfortable, but the planning will be done with support. Then, he will have to give the message that changing the process is necessary to take the company to the next stage. And in the tie-down, he will have to tell how its benefit is connected to the employees, customers, and the company's long-term stability. Now the audience will not just view the change through the frame of danger. They can start viewing it as the next step in the journey. This is real influence. You do not take over someone's mind. You give them a new angle to view it. Remember one thing. Every conversation in the world runs in some frame or the other. When the media writes a headline, it builds a frame. When a leader starts a speech, they build a frame. When a parent explains something to a child, a frame is built then too. You are wrong is one frame, and let's understand what happened is another frame. The point might be the same in both, but the response will be different. In the first frame, the child will defend. In the second, they might speak openly. The same happens in business. People might get scared hearing, we are doing cost cutting. But we are making the company stable by reducing waste can have a different impact. The words are small, but the frame behind them is big. Therefore, whenever you go to speak, do not think first about what I have to say. Think first about from what perspective the audience will listen to my point. Recognizing that perspective is the maturity of communication. And if needed, gently changing that perspective is influence. In Part 1, we learned attention. In Part 2, we learned sequence. In Part 3, we understood the frame. The picture is becoming clear now. First, catch the audience's attention. Then put the message in the correct order. And then give a frame such that the point does not go in the wrong direction. But the story is not over yet. Because after building the frame, the biggest question comes, what is your real message? Many people build the frame, tell the story too, but the core message remains blurry. And when the message is blurry, the audience might get impressed, but they do not change. In the next part, the curiosity is how to make your message so clear, sharp and memorable that the audience doesn't just listen and move on, but uses your point in their decisions.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.